And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing Minecraft. Jumping into another project here. We've got this giant orb battery up here, and it holds 2 trillion RF. And if you don't want a big orb, or if you really don't want to get into Draconic, I mean, it's all optional. There is an alternative battery that you can build from Mechanism called the Induction Matrix. And that thing can hold a lot of power. I mean, it can get really big. So if we do let's do just induction. So as you can see, it has induction casings, and it has multiple tiers of the 2 different blocks that you can put in it. So it has induction providers and induction cells. Well, that is very specific to what it actually does. So the providers actually provide the power. It is what dictates the transfer rate of the induction matrix itself. The induction cells actually store the power. So as you can see, it has multiple tiers. So you have a basic, advanced, elite, and then ultimate. These things are not cheap to craft, FYI. And then the induction ports, that is really what the interface. It allows you to push in or pull out power as needed. But before we get into these, as you can see, they use lithium. This lithium dust is only given by a process, a mechanism process. And this is a process that we haven't really touched on yet, because all of the mechanism stuff that we've done thus far has been just basic, like smelting and enriching, and we really haven't done a mechanism process. And there's a lot of stuff in mechanism that you can do chain together. So we need lithium. Well, how are we going to get lithium? We do a search for @mechanism. We'll get all of the blocks that it has, which is a lot. But down here we have these thermal evaporation controllers and thermal evaporation blocks. These things are what we're going to use to actually get the lithium. So first of all, we're going to need thermal evaporation blocks, which use steel and copper. Okay, and then we're going to need some ports. So let's put this in here. So we're going to need the port, or the valve, I should say. So these they're thermal, so they use heat to transform water into whatever you need. So I want the controller as well automated, because we need a couple of these, and I really don't want to handcraft all of that. So we're going to do thermal. So we need 2 controllers, because we need 2 of these setups. Okay, 2 controllers. We're going to need a bunch of valves. So I'm going to do like 20 valves, and you'll see why in a bit. And then we're going to need a lot of casing. So I'm going to do 2 stacks of casing. We should have quite a lot of steel. I've been pre-crafting materials for this. And just as a rundown, first of all, if we do iron, you'll see that we've got roughly 100, almost 200,000 iron. If we look at alloy, I've got 81,000 enriched alloy crafted up, and that's just to power this thing. So yeah, it's a lot of material. So this process is gonna it's gonna take a couple episodes to get through. So we've got a couple stacks of this. We're gonna go down to the basement. So another FYI, this setup causes some lag. There's lag associated with this, and I don't know why, but build it somewhere where you're not going to spend too much time where you don't mind if the process is sort of away from it all. So you have to build these 4x4. One of the only things I've ever seen in the game that is not... yeah, my Discord actually restarted for some reason. I don't know why. So we need 2 setups of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. For some reason, my Discord disconnected and then reconnected. I don't know why. Okay, so these need to be 4x4. I'm gonna put the controller here. It's weird that it has to be. It's odd numbered. It's really bizarre. Do I want to put these here? I'm just trying to figure out how I want to set these up, because this is quite the complex process. So we need to push water into the first one, and we need to make these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna make them 10 tall or so. Okay, and I can finish these off with the builder's wand at a later time. Okay, so we need to push water into this one, and a lot of water, by the way, a lot of water. So we're going to plan on that being an input valve. Let's see, sink. So I'll put a sink there. Okay, and then put one here. And I can put a sink here. So we're just going to stair step this going up. Again, it's a lot of water. A lot of water goes into these. So that's enough for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 inputs of fluid. The back of these, we need just a couple ports, and we'll get to this in a second, but just trust me on what we're going to need. We're going to need one on the side. So this is what you're going to start with, and just go all the way up to the top. The second one, you're not going to need as much fluid input, because the second one takes the water. This one takes the water, turns it into brine. This one takes the brine and turns it into liquid lithium. So we need like an input. I'm gonna do 2 inputs on this just as a failsafe. I want 2 inputs on this side, and I want 2 inputs on the back. So I've got one down here. I'm gonna do another one, maybe up here, because these things are thermal. We need to send heat into these, and the only way to do that is with the heating thermal thingies from Mechanism. So both of these need a lot of heat. Look at that, we ran out. So I'm going to do 2 more stacks of these, which shouldn't be too bad. And let's do this and then line that up, just for symmetry's sake. Oops. Okay, let's see if I can use a builder's wand on all this stuff here. Okay, that one, let's pull my builder's wand out and see if I can't speed this process up. People comment and say, hey, why don't you use the builder's wand? And it's like, yeah, I should. You got to be just careful with it, because you click the wrong angle and it just doesn't work. There we go. And the little red particle effects tells you that it's done. So it is good to go. So this one tells you that it's, you know, temperature. This one also tells you temperature. And it tells you also production. So we want sinks, lots of sinks. And I happen to have those on Autocraft. Yay me. We don't need quite that many. Let's just do these. So we're going to do sink, sink, just kind of zigzag them. And then we're going to want, put those away. We're going to want super laminar fluid ducts and lots of servos. Lots of these. So let's start those crafting up now. Let's grab a few. Super laminar fluid duct. Here, here, here. Normally I would have this spaced out a little, but okay. So there are lots of sinks, lots of fluid being moved in. I could even put, oh, I put the sinks away, darn. Grab the rest of these servos. So we're going to do just as much water as you can move. So servo, servo, servo. Lots of water. Trust me, depending on how big you make this thing, you're going to want lots of water in here. Now the other element is these things are, you know, thermal evaporation. We need these things. We need heat to be pumped into here. So what do we use for heat? Well, I'm glad you asked. I want to just get these servo things out of the way because this is kind of a tedious process. Pulling all of the water out that we can. You can see there's little frame rate hitches. But this thing should be full of water. Well, it's filling up fast. It holds a lot of water. This thing holds an immense amount of water, which is why we needed all of these sinks. This might not even be enough to keep this thing full, because when it's fully producing, it's going to be a lot. And it holds, I think, like, I don't know, 2,000 buckets or something like that. This thing holds the same, so it's a lot of fluid. And I want to change this up a little bit. I'm going to do a black hole tank. I'm going to do a couple of these. And I want to take the fluid out, the output, so to speak, put it into a black hole tank. It actually produced a little bit of brine already. Just the passive heat is actually turning some of this into brine. It's not a lot. You can see 0.37 millibuckets per tick. Very, very small amount. Minuscule. But it's going to start us off. So we're going to take, you know, a little brine. You know, we're making it now, and then we can control how much is being made over here. And then I forgot the valve output over here. I need a valve output over here. So where do I want this? Kind of want this up a little ways. There's the red particle effects, and I'm going to do another black hole tank on this one. So this will be the liquid lithium, because I want to be able to store some of this, make it fast. So thermal, how do we infuse more heat into that system? Well, there is a specific block that you need to make. Let's see if I can actually find it. What is it called? Resistive heater. That is what we're going for. Okay, so let's autocraft a few of these. Superheating element. And we need to autocraft that. And those energy tablets, you see that energy tablet down there? I've got a bunch of those autocrafting because a lot of this stuff takes those energy tablets. A lot of this process that we've got takes a lot of those tablets. So I've actually got four of my autocrafting interfaces with energy tablets in them because I want to craft those fast. Okay, so we should have a bunch of heaters. I want, how many do I want per thing? I want 40 of these. Let's get those started. And let's see, I need some stuff capable of transferring heat, and those are those thermodynamic conductors. So just like the fluid ducts or the mechanism pipes, these actually can transfer heat, which is nice because that's what we need, because these resistive heaters, those are going to make heat. Well, we need to transfer it out. So these are thermodynamic. Okay, basic thermodynamic. That's going to start with those. And then we're going to do advanced, which uses those. And we're going to go for elite. Come on. Those, you need to swap those out for the advanced ones. There you go. Make that. This is alloy. So let's make like 10 reinforced alloy and like 3 ultimate alloys. So I want 8 of these. Those are elite. Okay. So let's clear that and then go ultimate. And that way I can put all these in here all at the same time. I don't have to go back and forth. Now let's craft a bunch of ultimate. Let's just do a whole stack. Might as well. We've got the materials ready to go. There's a whole stack of those. And let's grab the what are these called? Heaters. These don't stack. For reasons beyond my comprehension, they don't stack. So we're going to go back down here. And in the back of this system, I want to put these heaters. So these things take power and just make heat. So, of course, I do the first one, trying to figure out how these things are rotated. There we go. So we put power in one side, heat comes out the other. So something like that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I crafted basically 20 for each one of these. Oh, this heat. There we go. So here, 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 here. Trying to build this a little bit more optimized. And this is really where a lot of lag comes in. Because, so I need 2 more on that line. 1, 2. Wait. Oh. Last one goes in my inventory for some reason. Okay, so I have the ultimate thermoconductive thingamabobs. And those go into the valves. You can see right there, it goes into the valves. That's why I have the 2 valves set up over here for the input of heat. And you can see my frame rate has already dropped. Okay, so we're done with those. We're done with the fluid. We're done with those. We're done with the servos. Now I'd like the other ultimate, not mechanical, universal cable. I might need a few more of these, so let's craft up another stack of universal cable. Because I need to power all of this stuff. Oh no.
Yeah. That's why I said awesome.
So we have a lot of power going to get pushed into this. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to be able to turn that other turbine on, because these things basically just direct convert power into heat. And do so very, very efficiently. Okay, there's one.
Trying to get back on, crash the game. It's great.
Wow. So, how are we going to power all these? Well, let's take a look at our heat right now. So right now our heat's actually going down. So I'm not sure why. But you can see, for some reason, our temp, 343K. So I want to then power these things up. So I'm going to put cable there. I want to put a quantum entangler in here. Let's get these crafted. There we go. So power supply. And now the power is started. Let the lag begin. So I've dropped down to 12 FPS after starting these things up. And if you click on this, you can see that the power is going up rapidly. So it's using 140 RF per tick on every single one of these, and we have 40 of them. So that's a lot of power. And look at that. The temperature is rapidly going up. As temperature goes up, so does production. As you can see, we're rapidly going up in production. And this is rapidly going up in the amount of brine that we have. And unfortunately, this is also going up in production, or in temperature, but it's not actually producing anything because we're not outputting those. So let me grab a couple servos.
Hello?
And let's come in here. Now we're pushing brine into here. And now our production is going up in here, and we're now getting liquid lithium. So we have started the first process of this. I'm going to let this run a little bit. And once we get a good amount of liquid lithium going, we'll come back next episode and do, we got to process this liquid lithium to get that crystallized lithium. That is the ingredient that we're going for the battery. So these huge setups are just going to ramp up, and this tells you the temperature inside. And the higher this bar, the faster your production, and the higher your temperature is going to be. And I've seen these peak out at like 2,000 or 3,000 K degrees, so quite a lot. If we look at C, we could go to F. Look at that. That's pretty hot, almost 800 degrees Fahrenheit, and climbing rapidly. And that's coming from all of these guys. These guys are pushing out a lot of heat. So yeah, good times. All right, well, that will have to do it for this episode, and I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.